Glacier Ridge Vineyard is the marquee red vineyard site for us at Red Meat Cellars. It's pretty much where all of our red fruit comes from now, and a few other special things that are just starting to trickle in. Located just about a half-mile north of us here, this is another classic banana belt site within the region. Steep slopes facing towards the west, so accumulating all the afternoon and evening sun on nice summer days like today. Also relatively shallow soiled, so the vines have a little bit of work to do to get growing.
Glacier Ridge is really an impressive site as well, in that it's one of the steeper slopes in the lower section of the vineyard that we work with, where really it falls off pretty precipitously at one point, where going from one row to the next is quite an elevation change, and that's where some of the older plantings are located. We also have come online now with what we call the upper block, which is a little bit farther upslope. It's got plantings of Pinot Noir, Merlot, and Cabernet Franc, which is really wonderful. The Pinot Noir is a joy to work with, but we didn't have much of it before, so now we're seeing a little bit more of those kind of new vines come online, and really an increase in volume that we're able to make with the wine.
Megs, what wines do we make from Glacier Ridge Vineyard?
Well, I guess I would start with the Merlot from Glacier Ridge.
Delicious.
What else do we make? Oh, we make a Pinot Noir.
Legendary and unheralded.
Oh, Cabernet Franc.
The Finger Lakes Classic, and this is a particularly olive and savory driven version of it.
And something new that we've really been working with is Syrah.
The Finger Lakes Classic in the making, and this is a really beautifully peppery version of it.
And then a curveball, we've got a Pinot Gris coming now.
It's our version of Chardonnay, because it's Chardonnay but with flavor.
And finally, a Riesling.
And this has been one of the joys for us to work with. We had a tiny bit of it for 2 years in a row that we actually did as a skin ferment. And then most recently we've expanded it into being a little more typical for our Riesling winemaking, with some skin contact but not skin fermenting.
So Tony Damiani is the grower at Glacier Ridge Vineyards and does a fantastic job there. Really kind of forces the site, pushes the site in a direction that allows for a little bit more kind of weed and insect population. So there's a little bit more competition for the vines. They have to work a little bit harder to get where they want to go.
Glacier Ridge is a fantastic site to work with, in that just about all of the grapes that come from the site have a real distinct black pepper sort of smokiness that cuts through. And that was always true of all the reds, which is somewhat expected, although it was surprising to people that wasn't coming from the oak. It may be more surprising that it happens with the white grapes as well. The Pinot Gris and Riesling have a real spiciness to them that's distinct to Glacier Ridge.